Share the link on Telegram. Okay, that's done. So let's start with the updates today. I think that the first one in the round today is Fernando. So you want to go first?
Yes. Okay, from my part, I almost finished the Beacon API ID to state root function. There is left missing the Genesis state root. I think we are not saving that yet, so I'm sure where we can get that information. Also, there is, I'm not sure if we have to like send the execution optimistic and the finalized parameters like static, true or false. We have to calculate those values. I am reviewing the lighthouse part. It's a little complicated the execution optimistic at least because it has to make a lot of calculations about the chain and all of that stuff. So that is
All
the
right.
two missions.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Let's. I suggest we do a couple of things. The first one is, I think that you're correct with that. I think that we might not be yet saving the Genesis information. Uh, if we are, then we can sync on that later on today. We will check. But I think that might be something that we're still not saving, and we just need to add it. If that's the case, then then we can add a separate issue. But I don't want you to like. I don't know what's the word for this, but like take on too much additional work that does like would burden you outside of the scope of your PR. So what I would suggest is if you already have the rest of the things implemented, maybe you can just start a PR with that, and then we can like in a separate PR/issue, then we can take on the Genesis issue. And regarding the optimistic execution option, I think that's kind of outside of the scope of your PR as well, but can you just add a written version of your question? Just because I think that this is an open discussion that might be a little bit longer, so that we can help you decide if there's anything to decide there.
Okay.
But I,
The PR is already pushed, so it's ready to
oh,
review.
nice. Is it already like marked as ready for review? Like we can start reviewing it right away if that's the case.
Yeah, it's that.
Okay, that's awesome. Yeah. My main goal with this is not to like block anyone. I just want to do the opposite. I want to like have this merge as like have this not block like your own other PRs and like other people's PRs. Just because like you already coded the fundamental part of this. And then we can like add in a separate PR what's missing, like positive Genesis options, positive Genesis. I just merged both things that you said. Sorry, optimistic execution or Genesis options. Okay, yeah, let's just do that, and we can sync afterwards. Is that right for you?
Yes, I agree.
Awesome. Thank you, Fernando. The next one is Mete.
Hello. I've been working on the Beacon API part to get states root by root, and like I basically written that and opened a PR draft PR, and my issue is the same as Fernando's. Like how do we like decide if it's optimistically executed and like finalized as well? Like I'm just I've just written some dummy values instead, like just calculating those. So I'm basically done with that, I guess. And the other thing is that like the metadata issue PR, it's not merged yet, so like it's waiting. Um,
Yeah.
if
So
you review it, it'd be awesome. Yeah.
yeah, I will review both today. I got a little bit behind on PRs yesterday, but today I will like flash the buffer of PRs and get done with all of them. My suggestion for both of you is that because what you're saying is that you need to decide when you return the value if the you need to put if it's an optimistic or not, right? I would suggest putting true in all of those, just hard coding the true value, because basically optimistic is like we are not validating execution payloads, right? It's a little bit more than that, but it's basically that. It's if you are optimistic, you basically are giving less guarantees, and I think that that's the safest option until we have a very well-structured mechanism to validate execution payloads. So I would just put true in there until we solve the other issue, and then we can actually do something in there. Does that work for you both?
Yes.
Okay, cool. And I will review both of your PRs today. Thank you for the reminder. Cool. The next one is Akash.
Yeah, yesterday I was checking whether the masking, the wraparound shifts and the constant addition in both Rust and Elixir give the same result. They give the same result. So I'm not sure where. Maybe we need to pass in some configuration to the checksum function, or like Mega suggested, maybe it is the big Indian, little Indian format issue, probably. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm afraid I was wrong. I'm afraid that I was really convinced that the masking was an issue, because that's the most probable thing. But it seems like the problem might be elsewhere, and DNS is a big option here. So what I suggest is let's do the following now. Like, well, we actually can think offline about this. Is it too late there after the meeting? Like, do you have a couple of minutes to sync, or if it's already too late?
Yeah, we can see. It's not too late.
Yeah, so I can help you a little bit more hands-on, because I believe that the issue got a little bit more complicated than I originally estimated. What I suggest we do in general is we isolate the other part, like the same way you tested wrapping around the wraparound shifts plus the addition. We can just remove that part and only go with the CRC32, or yeah, I think that was the acronym, and to see if it's different, how it's different with a binary array. So let's try to test that, and let's try to see if it's endianness, if reversing the bytes work, and that kind of stuff. But I'll give it a very much closer look today. But let's try to sync on that, at least, so that we can have a good direction on it. Thank you for the tests that you did yesterday. That kind of diagnosis, like making sure that something is not an issue, is one of the most useful debugging techniques, I think. Yeah, thank you, Akash. Let's think on that later. The next one is Tomas.
Yes. Yesterday I added a small PR for running the node in the CI. We currently check that it compiles and run spec tests, but we don't try to start the node. This should catch some small issues that we sometimes merge something to main, and when you try to run the node, it doesn't work. Also, I worked on moving our blocks and states from the store object to the DB. I made a PR that does that, but quite not in a beautiful way. So I'm gonna try to improve on that. And I also tried running the node in a server from Lambda with Grafana and the metrics running. With that, some problems occurred, and the fixes are in another PR I opened yesterday.
That's great.
Yeah, that's
I
it.
think that. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. No, I was just finishing.
Okay, yeah, thanks. Sorry for interrupting. That's awesome. Like having that running, like having a long run in a server is a feat in itself. We'll probably publish something about that. And also having the Grafana like publicly available, that's very useful. I think that one of the next observability things that we can have is maybe adding Loki to it. I don't know if you ever worked with that, but it's basically aggregated logging. So you can access the logs of the application in an interface that's very similar to Grafana. Yeah, we can talk about that later. It's just useful to know exactly what happened without needing to connect to the server through SSH and looking at the written and you might lose logs, right? Because depending on the size of the shell or whatever. With these, you can just have a web interface where you can see the logs, search them. Yeah, we can talk about it later. But congratulations on that, and also about the moving states and blocks to the DB. That's a big refactor. Let me know if you need any help with that. I think that you have it fully under control, but if you need any direction or whatever, feel free to just ping. All right. And the next one is God's Power.
Good day, everyone. So yesterday I had a call with Thomas A, and it was productive because I got some insights and I was able to solve the issue I was having. So right now, all the tests for mobilization of chunks passes in reference to SSZRS. So what I've been focusing on from earlier today is because there are a couple of steps, like you have to get the list, then convert it to chunks before using the chunks to merkleize. So basically I'm working on now those steps before merkleization of chunks. So yeah, I'm focusing on the intermediate steps right now to be able to make the hashing itself work. So converting from number to chunks and down. Yeah, so in summary, I'm still working on merkleization of lists and I've made a good amount of progress.
That sounds awesome. That sounds like a milestone. Congrats on that. Let us know if you need any help or direction or Elixir tips or whatever. But I'm glad to see that that's going forward. That's making progress. That's a hard PR. And that's great. The next, I think that we have some comments. Oh, yeah, it's unrelated. They said, wait, an F client in Elixir, that's really cool. Yeah, this is a consensus client in Elixir. Thank you for your comments. We're still not writing an execution client, which is the most popular kind of client. You still need a consensus one. We might do that next. Yeah. Wait a couple of months and we'll see. So I think that I'm the only one that didn't give his update yet. I've mostly been working on a POC for the concurrency issue. What I'm trying to do is I came up with an idea, which is, but I'm trying to structure it and making sure that it doesn't break anywhere, which is basically having one single process or gen server per block to follow the states of a block. I will probably have a call or an in-person meet with Mega, depending on when we do it, because I wanted to speak with someone about it before starting it. I need someone else to check this and make me think, make sure that I'm not having an insane idea. But I think it's a pretty good one. Basically, this would take care of you not needing to start individual tasks for everything that you do. You just have a single task from the beginning to the end of the lifetime of a block, and you don't have to pass around the whole block around gen servers. You just have one single process that takes care of everything. I think that the trickiest part will be testing, because it's very off specs and we need to make sure if we have a way to not break every test while we do this. So Mega, I will probably give you a call or meet with you between today and tomorrow at some point. because I need to talk to people about this and make sure that I'm not like going off script too much. We have a different comment which says Lambda execution client also need Elixir. No, definitely not in Elixir. Like I love Elixir. It's probably one of the best languages that I code on, but it's not the most efficient for batch processing, and the execution needs to be extremely efficient for that kind of stuff. Elixir is very good about like bandwidth heavy operations and making sure that you have a predictable workload. We probably will be using something more like systems programming stuff like Rust or, well, Concrete if it's finished. That's probably, well, Lambda is making a language called Concrete, so if we can use that, that would be amazing. But I don't know how finished it will be. I think they're making extremely fast progress, so I wouldn't think that's insane for the execution client. All right, yeah, thank you for the questions. Do we have any more final comments or questions before ending the daily today? All right, I will take that silence as a no. Thank you all for joining today, and we'll see you all tomorrow.